Welcome, everyone. This is Phyllis O'Neill, Senior Executive Director, and I am so excited to have you on week 2 of the webinar tonight. Last week, we went over the 2-10-1 business plan and an overview of the benefits. And tonight and the next 2 weeks, we're going to dive even deeper into each one of these steps and what they look like. So tonight, we're going to talk about the 2 incentives challenge, and of course, the 2 is 2 parties per month. Now, I had several tell me after last week's webinar that 2 parties a month was so doable, and they were so excited about this concept, especially because it's doable for the busy months like May with the end of school, graduations, and so forth. And I also heard from several that were excited to see how much income they could make with 2 parties a month. So I think several of you had some aha moments after last week's webinar, and that was so exciting. Now, tonight's goal is going to help you with ways to market your parties and yourself and how to book parties. I'll cover how to market the party experience and how to get some parties on your calendar if you're staring at an empty one. So let's get started. Like I said last week, the party is the heartbeat of our business, and everything happens at the party. The party is where you will book more parties, where you will build relationships with your hostesses and guests, where you will find your future team members, and maybe you don't even know it, but your future new best friend may be sitting right there at your party, or your future leader. Now think about how you heard about 31. Were you a hostess? Were you a guest? Maybe you were invited to a party but didn't even actually attend. I know there were some who have signed up sight unseen, and I'm one of those, but it's good to remember how you were first introduced to 31. Now we're going to talk about being intentional at our parties. You might already be doing this, and that's great, but sometimes we do things out of habit and don't even realize we're doing them. And there are 3 important things that you need to be aware of and you need to be intentional about. The guests are going to be more likely to book a party with you if they're at the party, first of all, and they're going to be more likely to book a party with you when they anticipate you are going to ask them. And that is what I meant last week when I mentioned the elephant in the room. So you can start planting those seeds right away. You could say, for instance, tonight when you're filling out your order forms, there are going to be some boxes to check at the top of the order form, and I want you to check yes on all of them. So just make light of the fact that you're going to be offering them to host their own girls' night out or a shopping experience with you. You may have some people at the party who are either with another direct sales company or they've been to another direct sales party, so they already know and expect that you'll be asking them to host their own. But it's just good to go ahead and get that out there right from the start. There will also be guests who have never been to a direct sales party, so they don't even know what to expect. So giving them a heads up that you'll be asking them later is the thing to do, and they can be thinking about that during the party. People will also be more likely to book a party with you when they know you, like you, and trust you. And this is where you're going to market yourself. Some must-have qualities of a consultant. You want to be friendly, welcoming, happy, transparent, and comfortable with your job. These are some ways you can market yourself as the consultant. Now, obviously, we all know what those words mean, but think about this for a minute. You're driving to your party and you're all sweaty and a bit flustered after getting dinner ready for the family before leaving. Then you had to put a load of laundry in, and you had to check your child's homework. Your babysitter was running 15 minutes late, and oh no, the zipper on your pants you were going to wear to the party broke. So after all that, you loaded the car for your party, and now the traffic is a nightmare, and you are just plain stressed out. Oh yeah, we're supposed to be happy? Well, I'm sure that there are some of you that can definitely relate to that or something similar. And after all that, a happy face really is the last thing we're thinking about. But Once we get to the hostess's home and before we walk in that door, we do have to put on our 31 face and a big smile, and we have to be friendly, welcoming, happy, and so forth. Now, I really like the word transparent here because I'll be honest, it almost never fails that I'll either forget the name of one of our products or the price, or I might even give them a price from an old catalog. But as crazy as it might sound, that's really okay because our hostesses and guests, they need to see that we don't have to be perfect at our job. We don't have to know it all. This actually can make them feel more comfortable knowing that we are human, just like them, instead of a professional with a title, which can actually be maybe uncomfortable and even intimidating to some people. So when they see us as human, they are more likely to see themselves doing what we do, being a consultant. And how exciting is that? Being comfortable with your job. You do want to be the best consultant you can be so that they want to have a party with you. In fact, you want them to be so excited that they don't even want to leave that party until they have a date set to have a party with you. So, back to the word intentional. I'm sure that everyone listening is all of these things by nature, but when we go into our parties with the intention of being all those things, it can make a big difference. Again, you want your guests to have such an amazing experience that they cannot wait to book a party with you. I'm going to go through a booking checklist, some things you'll do with your hostesses before their parties, and I'm going to kind of go through these quickly because we'll be focusing on more in-depth on those next week. And then on the third week, we're going to be focusing on the 10 in the 2-10-1 concept, and that is 10 guests and the hostess coaching. So you want to be booking ready. You should go to every party with hostess packets ready to hand out, and I mean at least 3. Taking more is always better. Also, on your way to each party, actually visualize yourself handing out 3 packets. Tell yourself that you will not leave that party without giving at least 3 hostess packets out. Make that a goal for every single party. One of the things you want to do is hostess coach properly. You want to build attendance through our monthly customer specials and let those help drive the attendance. You want to teach the hostess to help you before the party by collecting outside orders, by following the hostess plan checklist that you have given her, and you want to offer to call the guests before the party. Now, let me say something here real quick. It's hard for me not to go right on into hostess coaching here, but again, that's going to be for next week's webinar. And let me just tell you, you don't want to miss it because I have a ton of information to share with you on that topic. Now, I will go ahead and share something that actually is part of hostess coaching, and that is making reminder calls. I like to do this myself for several reasons. Pardon me. One might be a control issue, but we are not going to go there right now. I found that there are some real benefits to making the reminder calls myself. For example, I've had so many guests say, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much for calling. I would have completely forgot about it. It's been such a busy week and so crazy around here." Number 2, I get to introduce myself as the consultant, and it's amazing how you can start building a relationship with that 1 minute or less call. And then at the party, when you get to meet that guest in person, instead of it being like the first time you meet, you feel like you already know her a little because of that phone call you made. And then 3, if she can't attend the party, you get to go ahead and ask her if she had a chance to look at the catalog. If not, make arrangements to get her one. Let her know that you're sorry you won't be able to attend. Let her know that you're sorry that you won't be able to meet her in person. And let her know that she can still place an order by such and such date and give her the party closing date. Or if she wants to host her own ladies' night out and get lots of free products, you still have X and X dates open and give her 2 dates to choose from. Then be sure and let the hostess know who you called and what the responses were. Another thing to be booking ready is to arrive early. You want to get there and get set up and have time to talk to the hostess before all the guests arrive. Now, I do want to say something here that is very important. If your hostess asks if there is anything she can do to help you, don't say no. I've been guilty of saying, oh no, that's okay, I can do it. Now, my reason for saying that was because I didn't want her to think I couldn't do it myself. I've since learned that was the wrong way for me to look at it. So if you've done that too, please make note of this. I don't care what you have to do, find a job to give her. Why? Well, for one, this gives you both time to talk. Remember, relationship building. And two, giving her a job to do gives her a little taste of what consultants do. For instance, you could hand her some products and have her set them up on the display table. She's going to love getting to see, touch, and feel them, and she's going to see things that she wants that aren't even on her wish list. So, if she asks if she can help you, you say what? You say yes, absolutely. So involve your hostess. She could be your next team member. I like to arrive at least 30 minutes early, and really, I prefer to arrive 45 minutes early. Now, if your hostess has helped you, and if you still have extra time before the guests start arriving, now it's your turn to ask her if there's anything you can do to help her get things ready. This gives you even more time to build that relationship with her. By the time the guests start arriving, you need to be ready to greet them at the door, be genuinely interested in them, shake their hand, hug them if you can tell they're a hugger. Some people are not. But introduce yourself and then ask their name and make small talk and ask GTKY questions. Now, GTKY stands for getting to know you. Questions such as, how was your day? By asking questions, you can learn a lot about people. You want to ask questions that aren't necessarily yes and no questions. You want to ask questions that will engage them, and this will help you get to know them. It's the beginning of that relationship building that is so very important. So as you see, the question, how was your day, is an open-ended question. It's not a yes or no question. Now, usually their answer is going to be something like, oh, I'm glad my day's over. And, if they do say something like that, that's when we need to just make small talk and maybe say something like, uh-oh, stressful job, stressful day at the office, or something like that. And the conversation is going to open up, and you're going to learn more about her now. So if someone says, oh, my day was great, you could follow up, that is great to hear. You must have a great job, or a, great something, or something else that's just going to open up that conversation a little more. Now, if you're not very good at remembering names, which I'll admit I'm not, and the older I get, the harder it gets, but go ahead and consider using name tags. Now, I do want to say something. When we get to the part of this webinar series where we're talking about the 1 in the 2-10-1 concept, I'm going to give you some other ideas on how to remember names, which is actually a sponsoring game that I recently shared with the ladies who are in my Rising Stars series, but I don't want to lose track of time, so just don't miss that webinar. All right, let's talk about booking seeds. Again, it's all about being intentional. You must decide to deliver booking seeds. You want to deliberately do it. So prior to your party, you want to plan when you're going to deliver the booking seeds, when you're going to plant them, and where they're going to fit in. Now, I know that sometimes when we're on our way to a party and we're finally alone, sometimes it's just so easy to pick up that phone and call a friend to catch up with them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But I do have a suggestion, and that is that you take that time, 15, 20 minutes, or however long it takes you to drive to the party, to actually think about your party. Practice and visualize in your mind how the party is going to go. What you're going to say, and when you're going to plant those booking seeds. So give that a try, and you might be surprised at the difference that makes in your parties. Another thing I want to mention here is it's okay to use index cards or note cards. You can bullet point the things that you'll be talking about. Pardon me, I've caught a cold. You can bullet point the things you'll want to be talking about, and then put a star or write the word booking seed on the index card so you'll know when during your presentation you want to plant those seeds. This way you won't forget to plant them. Also, using index cards is going to be planting seeds in another way too. And what I mean by that is sponsoring seeds. Because the guests are going to see you using index cards, and they're going to realize that a consultant does not have to memorize everything. Yay, which makes me excited. And it makes it more appealing for them to think, wow, I could do this. And that is exactly what you want them to be thinking. More booking seeds will be planted when you go over the hostess rewards. Hostess stacking is a great visual. Now, if you don't know what that is, be sure to ask your sponsor or your director. Now, when you're talking about the hostess rewards, don't just talk about them, because those numbers can go in one ear and out the other. So get them involved. Have them grab their catalog and actually turn to pages 52 and 53 in the catalog so they can see the rewards and follow along as you're talking about them. If the previous hostess is at the party, let her share her experience and what she got for hosting. In fact, if you know before the party that the previous hostess is going to be there, ask her to bring a couple of things she got so the guests can see. Another thing we want to do is celebrate the hostess. We want to live up to the company's mission statement of celebrate, encourage, and reward. So please make sure you're doing that. You could go around the room and do that CER thing, celebrate, encourage, and reward. Ask the guests to introduce themselves and have them share these 3 things. 1, something they are celebrating in their life. 2, say something to encourage the hostess. And 3, and I love this one, share what 31 products they would like to reward themselves with tonight. Some other ideas: you can pass around a card that you've brought to all the guests, have them sign it, and write an encouraging or uplifting note to the hostess. And then when you're beginning your party, you can present this to the hostess when you're thanking her for opening up her home to host the party. And if you're giving her any special gift that you might have brought for her, give it to her. Let her know that anytime she's having a bad day, she can just get that card out and read all the wonderful things that her friend had to say about her. Remember, this is a party. When anyone hears the word party, we should automatically think fun. So we need to make sure that our parties are fun and that our guests are having a great time. We want them to laugh and enjoy themselves, and we want everyone to feel by the time they leave that party that they're a part of a big group of awesome girlfriends. And last but certainly not least, you want to ask everyone. So at the full service checkout, as you're going over the guest order forms, if they haven't filled out the little check boxes at the top, just take 1 extra minute or less to do that. You can start by saying something like, "So Betty, did you have fun tonight?" And then, "Let me take just a minute to help you by getting these boxes checked. Now this is just for my records and I'll be really quick." And then just start reading those questions about the newsletter, booking a party, earning extra income, or saying, something like doing what I do. Now if she says no to booking a party, ask her, "Now Betty, do you mean no as in never, ever, ever? Or do you mean no as in just not right now?" Now trust me, that gets their attention. Because honestly, Sometimes they think they have to book a party to be held in the next week or even two. So always ask that, and you can either pencil a date in or ask her if next month would work better, um, or put her on your maybe later list to follow up with. Now, the same thing's going to go. Even if she already had checked the boxes, you want to thank her for filling them out and then just go through them real quickly while she's standing there to see if she checked no to anything. If she did, you want to ask her about it. Of course, if she checked yes, you definitely want to have a hostess or a opportunity packet ready to give her right then. Remember, you can call the party whatever you want. A girls' night out, a get-together, a shopping night. Be sure to offer theme parties too. There are so many different theme parties, from a chocolate party to a cupcakes and cocktails party, a pajama party, and everything in between. You can set the theme to go with whatever season of the year you're in. And we cannot prejudge. You just never know. That one guest that may have seemed negative may have actually just had something on her mind that night. Maybe she was worried or stressed about something, but she could turn in to be one of your best hostesses or customers or new team members. So don't make up someone's mind for them. Let them make up their own mind. We'll never get a yes if we prejudge and assume they will say no. It costs you nothing to ask, or as I prefer to say, offer, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But just imagine what you and her both could lose out on if you don't. Okay, so we've talked about parties. Now let's talk about no parties. And I hope that's not you on that screen in shock because you have no parties on that empty calendar. We must always be planting seeds. We must always be offering, and we must always be following up. So, if you're staring at an empty calendar, here's what to do ASAP. Make a list of 62. This list of 62 is going to be your best resource for your business throughout your 31 journey. You will keep adding to it constantly. And the list of 62 is part of the Frank system, which, for those who might not have met Frank yet, Frank stands for friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, and connections through your kids and through your spouse. You're going to call, text, email, Facebook message, letting them know that you're excited because you get to give away free products to those who host a party or a get-together with you. Now, one important thing to remember is we don't ask for a booking. We offer free and discounted products. It's not about you. It's about them. It's not what's in it for you. It's about what's in it for them. When you take you out of the picture, everything changes. You can also host your own open house or your own party. Invite your entire neighborhood. Oh my goodness, do you know them all? Hand out your business cards, mini catalogs, and catalogs everywhere you go. Drop them off at local businesses in your area, doctor's office, dentist offices, hair salons, nail salons, real estate offices, daycares, schools, hospitals. The list goes on and on. These are ways to help you market your business. If you want, you can make your own coupons offering things such as 10% off your first order with me, or receive a free, and you can put in what product when you host your own girls' night out in whatever month, and so forth. Vendor events. These are also a great way to market your business. Now keep in mind that not all vendor events are created equal. Your main goal at a vendor event should be to market yourself and your business, to get your name out there, and to build relationships and get leads. Follow-up and customer care. This may be the most important part of your business. If you don't take care of your customers, if you don't follow up with people who expressed interest in the business opportunity, someone else will. So make sure that you are following up and following through. A thank you note in the mail, a phone call to a customer to make sure she received her order and was happy with it. That phone call can also be turned into a party or a new team member. Our customers and hostesses are the lifeline of our business, and we must always show our appreciation. Bottom line, spread the word about your business. Don't keep it to yourself. No one will know about it unless you tell them. Now think about this. If you were opening your own business, and what I mean by that is an actual retail business with a storefront for the public to come to, wouldn't you be out there telling everyone about it? Well, we must do the same thing with our 31 business. We must tell everyone about it wherever we are and wherever we go. Be proud of your business. Believe in all that 31 has to offer and be proud of yourself. We are entrepreneurs. We are businesswomen, and we need to be proud of ourselves for our accomplishments, big or small. So whether you've earned a Start Swell, or you promoted, sponsored a new team member, or if you've made a commitment to restart your business, be sure to celebrate yourself. And we do need to pray for our business. All things we do need to be done to the glory of God. So whether there is one person at our party or 25 people there, we need to pray and give thanks. All right, that wraps up tonight's call. Next week, you're going to hear all about how to get 10 guests at your parties. And ladies, we are going to take those 2 parties and blow them up. Imagine if you got out of the house 2 nights a month and there was a guaranteed 10 paying guests at each party that spent an average of $65 each. So how can we guarantee that you get 10 guests at each party? Stay tuned. Jump on next week's webinar, and you are going to love the hostess coaching for 10 guests at each party. June 11th, 2013 at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. As a reminder, the replay of tonight's webinar will be emailed, and then a separate email will be sent with a new link to register for next week's webinar. I do encourage you to re-listen to week's 1 webinar if you weren't on it, or if you were on it, to refresh and re-listen to those benefits of the 210-1. Pardon me. And last but not least, as you see in the picture here, don't follow your dreams, chase them. Thank you all so much for investing in you and your business tonight, and we'll see you next week on the webinar.